Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Glory Hunters podcast. I'm here with my partner, Glory Hunter Nick. We're going to go to the week in football. We've been doing this twice a week. Shout out to Over the Bar for helping us out, putting some content on here. And if you want to put some content on here, whether it's rants or anything you might be able to contribute, go to the Discord, get to know us, earn our trust, and you can be a part of this project as well. And make sure you like and share and all that other stuff. And what do you say, man? Let's go over the week in football. Some big stuff. Obviously, we got Champions League coming up. We had a huge match with, the lesser of the European trophies, I suppose, the smallest one, which is still a pretty big trophy, depending on the financial state of your team. Because the conference that was awarded over the week, and a pretty good big game tonight, as the time is recording in King's Cup. We'll touch on that a little bit, and then that's really only big because Ronaldo's in there. I think the two biggest teams are in there. So we might actually cover that and do a watch along. So let's get right into it. And look at what we got. First story I got, I just really want to touch it. Hansi Flick has no space to financially register with Barcelona after announcing Hansi Flick, the former German national, former Bayern Munich manager for Barca. The problems continue. They're really hoping what's his face left, I guess, huh? Lewandowski. What do you think of this? Is there anything to this?
I think it's just comical, really, isn't it? You know, you can't even hire your own manager. That's like, what? I've never heard of that before. That's just insane to me.
Do you think,
like,
this is one of the most financially powerful teams in Europe for as long as I can remember, certainly when I first moved to Europe. Are we experiencing like a type of thing right here that they still have sort of a General Motors mindset and they're only Kia? I mean, or like, maybe it's a bad analogy to make to a non-American, but I mean, is this an internet ISP thing and they're Google? I mean, like just some mom and pop internet ISP, which they probably don't exist anymore. So that's a bad analogy as well. I would say like the culture, the mind shift is the mind shift. There's my German spitting out, man shift. The culture or the mindset of the old Barca just kind of keep creeping through.
I don't know. I think it's just like the issues still carrying on from that sort of era, right? I just think, I don't know, Barcelona's too big of a brand to die, I think. I think there is ways they can get out of this. I think because they're
legally,
I'm not sure. No, but, I'm sure there's like a way to get investment or something into the club. I think they're like a publicly owned club, so I don't know if maybe like one of the ways is like they have to take sell the club to some big Saudi owner or some shit. I don't know.
Yuck.
But it is really scary times for Barcelona, really. Like, we don't know when this is going to end, right? Because I think they're at a point where it's not necessarily they don't have the money anymore. I think it's just the financial restrictions on the club because of all the overspending and stuff is sort of like snowballing, where it's not even a case that they can't necessarily afford to do the things they need to. It's they just can't physically do it because of the rules or whatever.
It's just really comical. A lot of Barca news. Barcelona forward Rafinha, the subject of a €100 million move to Saudi Arabia. I suppose that would help. What do you think about this move?
He's a bit young to be going Saudi Arabia. I think he's only like 26. But yeah. I mean, Barcelona need the money. Who's going to pay it? Saudi Arabia.
Send him.
But there's talk of them looking at another winger. I forget who, but there's like talks that they're looking for another winger, and one of the reasons why they want to sell Rafinha is to fund signing that guy, and it probably will be now to try and hire Hansi Flick as get the money in, so they're actually allowed to sign on Flick.
How much do you think Flick? How much do you think Flick is making a year? What's is he really worth that much? I guess he's top flight.
I'd imagine. I can't imagine he's like earning. He maybe his contract is going to be like top 10 in the world, but I doubt he's like the highest earning coach at all. Like, I'd expect maybe they gave him like the 6th or 7th most for a coach, which, I mean, understandable at that level, right?
I really don't like seeing this happen in Barcelona. Barcelona's like, I've always been sort of sympathetic to the, what do they call them over there? I talked to them when I was in Spain too.
Thessalonians.
No, not the bar. They have the name for the Catalonians. I've always been kind of sympathetic to their cause, and they're just the cooler. I don't know. I mean, I grew up rooting for the Yankees, but I don't know. I kind of like, I guess in this case, rooting for the smaller club. Well, Barcelona's not really a smaller club, but I don't know. There's something cool about those colors and what have you. You know, I thought when I was a kid, you remember when they had the UNICEF sponsorship, so to speak? It was not really sponsorship. And I remember them started like, that was their answer to other clubs that were doing it. It was like, we're going to do a charity instead because we're above that. You know, they were one of the last clubs to actually put anything on their a sponsorship on their shirt. And I remember thinking, is that going to bite them in the ass? You know, that was in 2005 when I learned that. It's like, is that kind of a good attitude to have, considering that, let's be honest, football's kind of pay to win. It's a pay to win game.
It certainly is pay to win, especially in this day and age.
I mean, it's not 100% guaranteed.
He's like their most iconic like sponsor. Like you ask people, oh yeah, Barcelona sponsors, UNICEF is going to be straight away. Like it sort of became part of their identity for a while. But
until Spotify and they lost money.
That money. Yeah, like
the greatest player in the world. They're the greatest player in the world. The greatest player in history. And then
they couldn't re-sign him.
They still blew it. So, and I say this is not a Barcelona hater. I'm pulling for Dortmund this weekend. I'm not a Real Madrid guy by any stretch, but it is kind of comical, and it gets more comical. Gerard Piqué is being investigated for leg corruption at the Spanish FA during Luis Rubel's presidency. That's the guy that kind of sunk the team, right? If I'm not mistaken, Luis Rubel's. Is that the guy? Let's see if I know what he looks like because I watched a video on him. He's got a funny mustache.
I'm not sure. That name rings a bell. But
no,
I'm not sure
no, it's not. Oh, that's the guy. I know who he is. That's the guy that got kicked off the span. That's the guy who kissed the chick last summer.
Oh, yeah. So Spanish. Luis Rubiales was Spanish FA. It was Bartomeu that was the Barcelona guy.
Bartomeu, yeah. Okay, so that wasn't him. No, he's the kisser. That's too funny. The court looking into possible illegalities with criminal implications concerning commissions Piqué's companies received moving the Spanish Super Cup to Saudi Arabia. Interessant. You don't know anything about this. You can't probably speak out on this. I just put it out there.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, but there'll be a really interesting thing to see because that's quite out there. Like a player earning money from moving a Super Cup to a different country. Like,
if I'm not mistaken,
directors or something, but not a player to be getting that.
Well, he wasn't a player, but Franz Beckenbauer was investigated by UEFA, by FIFA. He wouldn't give them nothing either. He wouldn't talk to them. They tried. Even the German media tried. Yeah, he was a tax avoider. They looked into corruption, and I think the corruption was getting the cup to South Africa. Apparently, Franz Beckenbauer was involved in that somehow. But and just like in the first investigation doesn't mean you're something criminal. There could be something political going on here, and I don't know enough about it to say. And I think some of the stuff against Franz Beckenbauer may or may not have been political. It wouldn't have surprised me. So I find that fascinating. Is it Gerard Piqué? Didn't he secure his ex-boyfriend or something like that, or ex-husband?
Yeah. They were married for a while.
And he's a real entrepreneur, Gerard Piqué. He's like the Kings League guy as well, right?
Yeah, Kings League. He owns FC Andorra.
Yeah.
And apparently a company that made a load of money from moving the Super Cup.
Uh-oh. Viel Glück, mein Freund. Kings Cup final tonight. I think there's a really good chance that we're going to do a watch along with it. So it should be fun. It should be funny. Al Nassr will die. Al Hilal, the domestic treble. So, wow. So Al Hilal is going for the domestic treble. Is Neymar healthy for that? This is a derby.
I know he's been injured for really long, so I assume he's not fit for this either.
We'll be doing a story on him if you stick around coming up real soon. And I'm dying to throw this at you because there's a lot of wild stuff going on. Yeah, I think I want to see this for sure. Ronaldo
I think it'd be an
up.
interesting game.
Yeah,
you've obviously got Ronaldo chasing some glory finally in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Then Al Hilal won the league, clearly a top side. They've got some really big names in there as well, like Mitrovic, who was banging in goals in England. You got Milinkovic-Savic, who was one of the best midfielders in Italy for many years, playing at Al Hilal.
Liverpool,
so
Sané.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So it's even without Neymar, there's some big names on that pitch along with Ronaldo.
It's also I'm starting to feel closer to saying goodbye to Ronaldo too. So maybe I should get a game in. Thinking about making my kid watch it because he's almost gone. It's almost time to say goodbye.
Yeah.
He only said 2 years, and we're at the end of the first one. So maybe it's time to say.
True.
Yeah. Scottish Premiership clubs have voted in favor of phasing out the use of artificial pitches. Have you heard this? And I didn't know anybody in your part of the world used. I thought that was just MLS, to be honest with you. I think everybody, because of softer landing, would rather use an artificial pitch. But I got to be honest with you, the technology's improved a lot with artificial pitches. I don't. My son plays on one. I just saw you. I saw that. Is these pitches are really hard to maintain. Is this a good idea for a smaller league like Scotland to do? And does it really affect the game that much? I know Johan Cruyff hated playing in the States because of that, but really, is it that much, or is it just a nostalgia thing? Like, how important is it to play on a real surface, in your opinion?
I'm not actually that well educated on why they don't.
But you cringed. I saw you cringe when I said that. Was that a real cringe? Did I misread you a little bit?
But over here, they do have them at like a really low level, like Braintree sort of level. You'll find them, but I know in league football, like League 2, you're not allowed it. From like League 2 above, you can't have one at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about it being a softer landing as well after playing on them.
I'd rather land on dirt. I'd rather land on earth.
Up at the moment because I went for a sliding kick on one the other day.
You know what it might be too, because although they don't really have them anymore, the old American football surfaces, they were like flat. There was no there wasn't even any kind of fake grass in those. It was just artificial turf, and it hurt a lot more than hurt hitting the ground. So I'd still rather hit the ground. But I got to be honest with you, like my son plays in artificial, and I've seen the improvement over the last 20 years. And I don't see the difference, but I don't think I'm at a level to really be able to tell. And I never played at a high level, so it's difficult to tell. It'd be interesting to ask some pro players. We get old Sasha.
Certainly.
If we ever get Sasha, I'm going to take a shot at getting Sasha. And we got to come up with a bunch of just professional footballer questions like that. We got to throw that in there. I'll say let him go on vacation. Oh no, we can joke around with him. We can definitely joke around with him. Like there's probably a limit. No edgy stuff, but we can joke around with Sasha. I wonder if I could get him. I think I could pull it off. We shall see. So going back to Scotland, so they're phasing it out. I suppose that's good. I'd rather pay for it, but I just wonder if keeping those pitches nice and clean is a full-time job. It really is.
Oh, 100%. Like down at the lower levels, teams that don't use them, you do often see they get issues with, like, if they can't afford to upkeep the pitch, it can cause a lot of issues. Like Braintree used to have a lot of issues themselves, where you'd sometimes see like bits where they've had to fill it with sand because, like, there's just like holes in the pitch and stuff like that. They've managed to like sort it out recently with the lawn doctors, but yeah, some teams had that. Like another side, Billericay, their owner left. He was like a dodgy guy, and like 2 weeks after he left, someone drove their car onto the pitch and like messed up all the turf by driving around in their car. 2 weeks after this dodgy owner left, I'm sure there was no connection. They for like 2/3 of the season, they had to they couldn't play a home game because they just couldn't fix their pitch.
That's
just completely ruined.
That's insane. If you remember, if you watched Welcome to Wrexham, they had a new pitch put in, new sod, new everything, and it failed for some reason. There's some kind of disease in there or something like that. And then they had to tear it up, cost another $100,000 to make it real nice. So they had their problems with pitches too. So it is grass, it is ground. It's going to do what it's going to do. Everton told Manchester United to forget about trying to sign center back Gerard Braithwaite. I think I said that right. On the cheap, the Toffees want twice the $40 million United hope to. They want £40 million to sign for him. Why do you think they're doing that? Just up at or are they just desperate for cash over United? Or
why are who doing it? United or Everton?
Everton was told Manchester United to forget trying to sign the center back on the cheap. They want more than they want twice. Like I said, 180 million. That's the way I'm seeing it. And I mean, I know this guy is he was very effective for them this year, even though they avoided relegation. He's one of the reasons they avoided relegation, correct?
Yeah. He's a very bright young player. I think he's only 21 years of age.
Nice.
He does look like a very good player, and you can understand why Everton are going to ask for that sort of money. You know, when you see the prices that are being paid for players in this day and age, especially by Manchester United, some of the crazy fees they've spent over the last few years.
They're going to. Okay.
And then you've obviously got English tax on there as well, and so I don't think 80 million's crazy for Branthwaite. Like, it's overpaying, but then you overpay for every English player these days. I'd assume it will be a similar situation to Declan Rice, where maybe it sort of gets to a point where they have to wait for his contract to sort of get to a point where it's running out before they can get like a reasonable price for Branthwaite, rather than now when he's probably got like 4 years or whatever on his contract. So Everton don't need to sell. So, you know, ask for a whole lot of money. So if he does go, you got a lot of money to replace him with.
Thumbs up or thumbs down on the move for United? Is this the guy they could use?
Thumbs up on the pitch. I think he'd be a good signing for them. They certainly need centre backs coming in, and he does look like one of the best young prospects. But 80 million is a tall.
It's a lot of money.
Tall price.
You mentioned Declan Rice. A lot of people last summer said that he wasn't worth it. He had a great season, finished up second place. Has Declan Rice earned that transfer fee, in your opinion, just looking back?
I don't know about necessarily earning it. 100 million is a hard number to earn.
Yeah, fair enough.
But the thing is, like, Declan Rice is one of the best midfielders in the world. Heading towards his prime years, Arsenal paid the 100 million for that. You know, that's the price you pay for a player of.
So it was right. So like I heard a lot of people saying that was too high, that it was overpriced, blah blah blah. But I think I don't know. I think he's earned that. I think he's, like you said, he's one of the best midfielders in the world. If you have the best midfielders in the world, you can pay $100 million, 100 million euros, pounds, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if earned it is the words I would use, but like as in like. They spent £100 million for one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, and they got exactly that.
Okay.
You know, I don't think you can complain as an Arsenal fan. I think that is what £100 million should have been spent on if you're buying a midfielder, right?
Well, I would think so. I have a wild one for you. Okay, let's bring this back over here because I want to get this right. Is something wrong with this guy? I always had a bad feeling about him. So Raiden Lodi tied knots in Neymar's shoe, which is an old joke that we did in hockey as well. And the response was to smash his car and I guess take the wheels off and remove the tires.
He slashed his tires, yeah.
Is that
it's quite the escalation, isn't it?
Classic, no revenge. Neymar started to slash a teammate's tires as payback for the horrendous act of tying knots in his shoelace. Is this what's wrong with him? It seems like I don't know.
I think it's quite the escalation on the old prank front, but
this is this is the way I look at it. Rich people pranks.
Yeah,
you kind of lose your humility. I think this is really Eric over here has it right. I don't know. To me, it's like I guess because I'm looking at it as a poor person, I'm looking at like, you slash my ties, I kill you. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like, for tying knots in your shoes, I'll hang you. I mean, how about that? How's that for a knot? I don't know. What do you think of him? I always thought he was a bit of a baby and a great player, baby and a diver.
Yeah, I very much have the same opinion. I've really never been a big fan of, like, player wise, one of the best ever.
Sure, no doubt.
But I just hate how much of an embarrassment he is on the pitch. Like, he embodies everything that football haters make fun of the game for, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of ways.
Like, if you were to make a stereotypical player of, all of the things that people bitch about who don't like football and like American fans bitch about, it would be Neymar. He's a rich prima donna that dives around on the floor, cries, plays up his injuries and stuff like that. He's just like, I don't know. I've never really liked him. I've always found him a bit embarrassing, but generational talent. So.
Oh, for sure. I don't think he's a lot like Robin. Like, whenever I say that about Robin, because Robin's my one that itches my craw a little bit. And the response is always, but he's a great player. And were we fighting about that? Was I arguing with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's what a playmaker. Sure. What an asshole. That's what I'm thinking. I like the fact that you said that this is what sticks in America. Yeah, it is. It's just football haters. That's the first thing they point out. Bill Burr pointed out, is like, it's kind of tough to root for a sport where the people in the stands are kind of tougher than people in the field. Sometimes we all love the beautiful game. Jose Mourinho, Fenerbahce, what do you think? I'm sorry, I got to be honest. I wish he went to a Big Five because I'd like to hear him. I like to hear his stories. I like to hear him bitch. I like to hear him yell at the media. Is good move for him? Bad move?
It's about the move I would have expected for him at this point.
Yeah.
I've said for a while now he's washed. We spoke before about, could he potentially find a way back to a top club. I think the fact that he's ended up at Fenerbahce shows that even he knows that's not on the cards anymore.
Do you think that if he hadn't acted like such a jackass during the Europa final last year, that he'd have a better job?
I don't know. I think
because going to a European final for a manager is usually a promotion to the next one, to the next level, and it's not for him because of his age and his reputation, everything that comes along with being hiring Jose Mourinho. But I thought that he did do a good job over there, and I thought maybe that others would think, well, maybe he's not totally washed. At least he's getting teams to finals. But I think he also wouldn't break in more so. I'm sure part of it is like the game's passing by type argument, which is probably a better argument. But I think at the end of the day, nobody wants to deal with him. That's my guess. No one wants to take a chance because if you really needed a manager, you probably get him in the cheap. He's definitely got his trophy case, as you well know, personally know, is big. It's probably the first manager you remember, right? I would imagine, right? He was one of the guys he was your guy growing up, I imagine, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. He was the man at Chelsea.
It really doesn't pay to act like a jackass, even if you do get screwed on the penalty. And he did get screwed on the penalty, by the way. I know Roy Keane wouldn't say so, but that's it. Roy Keane finding himself in a little trouble as well. Did you hear about this? I guess the guy that headbutted him back in September, he got into it with him again, but this time elbowed him at an airport. Have you heard about this?
No.
Yeah. I can't edit this one, so I should have pulled it. Yeah. I don't know. We got to look into that a little more. And again, Mike was there to kind of separate them. Strange. But this time Roy hit back. I don't know how this guy can follow that guy. But apparently he's suing now or whatever. Over the bar news. Kieran McKenna. Am I saying that? Yeah. It's Kieran or Kieran?
Yeah, Kieran.
Kieran, yeah. It's a super old Irish name, isn't it? Has signed a long-term deal at Ipswich. Is he Irish-born or English-born, Kieran?
I think he's Northern Irish.
Oh, okay. Signed a new Ipswich Town sealed new. I'm so happy to commit to the. Oh, shut up! You were going to somewhere else if you could have. I don't want to listen. I'm not even reading that. A lot of rumors just this week that he's not going. We even posted some stuff. The Over the Bar guys posted some stuff talking about him. Did you have any doubt that he was going, or was he trying to go and then just settled back with his old team? Because it's like, man, you get promoted, don't you want to stay? Maybe he just doesn't want to get battered next year. I don't know.
I think he would have left if Chelsea wanted him. I don't know. There was some reports saying he rejected Chelsea. Some saying Chelsea called him up to say, "Look, we're going in a different direction."
Okay.
I believe that Chelsea were the ones to say no to him because I think if you're McKenna, you're going to take the Chelsea job. I could believe him turning down Brighton, but I find it hard to believe that he would turn down the Chelsea project. I find it hard for any manager to really turn down the Chelsea project when you look at the amount of money they're spending on really talented young players, I think. And you're playing in Europe next year at a team that really should be punching into the Champions League spots next year. I get the whole wanting to go again with the team you just got up idea, but I don't know, I find it hard to turn down that Chelsea project. Sure. But other than that, I think, yeah, I could see him turning down Brighton to stay there. So my feeling is Chelsea said, we're going with Maresca, and he's decided to choose Ipswich over the other options.
Good move, bad move. Do you want him in Chelsea?
I don't.
You don't?
But purely from a stylistic point of view. I don't like. That's not me saying he's a bad coach at all. I think he's done a phenomenal job. He's a good coach, promising coach, but I think his style is more akin to Pochettino, which, as I've spoken about in prior, that's not the style that the Chelsea squad is being built for or what the ownership are looking for. Okay. So that's why I would say no to him.
Enzo Marcia, am I saying his name right?
Maresca,
excuse me, has agreed to 5-year terms with Chelsea. This is your new man. How do you feel about it?
I think it's an interesting move. I think it's not a move that anyone saw coming, but I think there is a lot of interesting things to see with this move for Chelsea.
You don't really sound super excited about it, though. Do you not want to bash him? I mean, you're supposed to bash him.
I know, but I don't know. I think he's a really hard one to gauge because, you know, he's a man with not a lot of experience. He's only really got like one serious season behind him at Leicester last season where he won the league but almost didn't after being way ahead. A very short failed stint at Parma. But he has some very interesting ideas, and he used to work with Pep as an assistant manager. So yeah, he's a really hard one to gauge for Chelsea, I think.
A couple hours ago, Benjamin Sesko to Arsenal. You like the move? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Depends what do you want me to answer as, a Chelsea fan or a neutral?
Neutral.
Neutral, very good move.
As a Chelsea fan.
Fucking hate it because I really want Chelsea to sign it. Now.
What does he bring to the table, in your opinion?
He's one of the best young strikers in Europe at the moment. He's tall, he's technically gifted, he's able to drop back and sort of play around a bit more. Good finisher. I think he's a Zlatan type striker.
Really? That's
that sort of style.
You really wanted him then, huh?
Oh, I've tweeted about it before. I'm pretty sure. Like even last summer, I was saying Chelsea should get Sesko, but so I'd really hate it if Arsenal go.
Okay, we got new champions in conference. Yes, we do. Congratulations to Lipicatos. Beat Fiorentina. Fiorentina drops back-to-back conference leagues. I really wanted to do a Lipicatos game for watch along, big time. Just because of the rivalries and just how insane the Greek fans are. But I mean, like for me, a non-Big Five winning one of these things is it's great. I think it shows the health. It shows a healthy sign. Sorry about Florentina. I got nothing against them dropping 2 in a row. Very boring game. Boring because the center backs on both ends played so damn well. The center backs, the right and left backs on both sides just stopped everything. Every crucial tackle was met, and only got caught napping once. That's all it takes. In extra time, put one away. Game in Athens, it was electric. It was a great goal. I think the only thing you took away from it is a VAR check, an unnecessary VAR check. It was like ridiculous VAR check. But Olympiacos was champions, and if you're an Olympiacos fan, you're on cloud 9 right now because that's just that's a big trophy. That's a big trophy. And I think it's also one of the reasons conference was created to give big little big clubs, for lack of a better word, a chance to compete for something in Europe that means something. And congratulations to them, and enjoy the Europa League beating. You're gonna take next year. That's all I really got to say about that. I guess we're getting to the point for our Champions League. I don't have much to say about this other than I am rooting for Dortmund. I can't stand Real Madrid. But the only the guys like Slaughterback, the back guys, they're basically going to have to let these guys take it to them, stop guys like Vinicius and Bellingham, and hope to get a turnover and bury it on transition. Am I wrong? I really don't see them coming out of this. But then again, nobody saw them going this far to begin with. What do you think?
Yeah, they certainly have the shock factor where obviously, no one thought they were going to get this far, and that is kind of how they played against PSG as well. Just like they had a fantastically solid defensive game against PSG, especially in that second leg.
Yeah,
they were absolutely monstrous at the back, and then they stole their goal and sort of saw the game out by just defending really well. And I think, I'd expect the same approach in this game where they're going to have to rely on their really solid defense and sort of like Real Madrid overcommitting, trying to break it to get their goals rather than trying to go out and play and being a bit more open and letting those like crazy good talented players in the Real Madrid team just sort of open up that space when they step forward and then just like score goals like they did, like they've done all tournament. We saw it last round against Bayern Munich. They stepped forward just a bit, and then all of a sudden Kroos finds a fantastic ball in through to Vinicius, who flies in behind, gets a chance. Rodrigo scored a goal by doing that, by flying in behind into the space. And so, I think the approach for Dortmund is just play like you did against PSG. Hope you have an absolutely unbelievable defensive game again, like you did against PSG, and try and find your goal somewhere in there and win it that way.
Unfortunately, I think they're going to have to underestimate Dortmund a lot, get caught overcommitting, like you said, and I think, and I just don't see a team like Real Madrid do it. A full crew can punish you quickly and easily, and he just doesn't look like much on the surface because he doesn't carry himself like a jackass. But he can punish you, and if for some reason they can get him, he will finish. He is a deadly, deadly finisher, one of the best in the world. I really think they'd almost have to go into it with a poor mindset and tactically maybe not follow the game plan. I can't imagine a bad game plan in the States. I think when you have personalities like you have at Real Madrid, when things get tight and get tough and the players kind of go on their own, and I think Dortmund could potentially capitalize on that. I don't know if I see them doing it. I don't see a runaway game. I don't see that at all. The Slaughterbacks in the world they're not gonna make that happen, and they do have some talent up front. To say that they don't, I think they'd have to go in it thinking we really don't have to take their forward seriously, and I think that's probably the only way they're going to win is if for some reason they don't take their forward seriously and don't have a solid defensive midfield and the back they're good. The back, like Real Madrid's really good in the back as well. So I think I think if the midfielders have a defensive mindset, I think it could be 2-1, 3-1 or Madrid. That's kind of what I'm going for. Hope not. We'll be doing it here, right here on Glory Hunters. Look out for it. And I think that's it, bud. I think that's all we got. That's. Do you have your personal football story of the day? Anything?
I don't really have anything this week. No. The news is quiet for Braintree at the moment.
Well,
made one signing in Ryan Clampin, but that's not really big news, especially not for anyone outside of who follows down there, because who the hell is Ryan Clampin, right?
Does he live down the street from you, or is he a friend of yours?
I think someone said the other day his girlfriend used to work at the same company that so close enough.
Well, I have two things, so I guess I'll make up for it. I'll lightly touch. I did a whole video on it. Of course, we got relegated. Van Wiesbaden. I was there. It was difficult. Somebody actually wrote me and they said there is one thing to look forward to, because the third league looks like the third league this year. Like all the teams that have been naturally sort of fighting it out and had sort of dramatic third league matches are all in place, like the Rostock and Wiesbaden. The Dynamo, that's going to be a big match next year. I mean, that's something to look forward to. I'm not going to reiterate, the points I made. There's a lot of people in Germany think Wiesbaden got a unfair shake on a penalty. When I was there, I saw it. There's this website that sort of investigates the referees in German, and they saw what I saw live, like a two-handed shove from Patin from behind, and I saw that, and I knew, and that everybody kind of like put their hands up and concentrated on the ref, and I think Van dropped their guard. They got it to the best player on the field, Dominic Kother. Kother made a cross, and it slightly defected off of one of his own forwards, and that turned into a perfect pass to an outside foot kick. So he just stepped into it with the outside of his foot and put it past Stritzel. And I think that probably because everybody was so sure that Patin was fouled. I have ESPN on. I don't know why they don't have the games on WoW or Now for Sky for You. They don't have the games on what do you call it? On demand, where you can rewind and fast forward it, which is stupid. And I couldn't find any. So I have a subscription to ESPN Plus in the States. VPN'd it, and sure enough, he is hit from behind with a chest. That did take him out of the range for the header, because you got to line those up perfectly. And he instinctively kicked his legs behind him and fell down. And I couldn't believe it when I saw it, because I was so sure I saw two hands. And the guy on that website said, yeah, there's two hands. That's usually a two-handed shove. That's a penalty. Maybe one hand they let him get away with, but it wasn't. It wasn't even that. It wasn't even that. It almost feels like the football gods punished Vahan for diving. That's what it looks like. It's like the most bizarre thing in the world. And, that's what it is, and that's football. And even if even if they got robbed and I'm wrong, and I'm not, they put themselves in that position, and that's it. And it sucks for, Sasha and those guys that happened. Flip side, New York, who's drew a lot of games and lost their derby. Miami and Cincinnati, they've dropped out of the league race a little bit. New York, both lost, and they won. They beat Charlotte, so we're right back in. they were, so that's really exciting. Forsberg had a brace. Red Bull's a really exciting team. I think it's certainly going to make the playoffs. How much damage they do, and we got Leagues Cup coming up, so that's a lot exciting. And then Euros. We got to get together. We wanted to do our Euro special, so we got to get together with Green Man. Green Man, if you're out there, it's your idea. You better get in contact with us, and we'll see if we start putting that together and get the boys together. Maybe we could do like a multi-level debate on each team, or let me talk to Green Man and figure out exactly what we're doing, because we said we're going to start doing it immediately afterwards. So we'll pick.
Was this or next weekend? We said was like.
Yeah, it was
when we
after
were gonna
after
film a lot of it.
after the big game, which is Saturday, and I think we should probably get together Sunday and start talking about it. If not, I think we should just film them, put them out all at once, or put them out a little at a time. I don't know.
We'll figure something out.
We'll have to figure something out. Thank you so much for being a part of Glory Hunters. If you want to be a content creator, Glory Hunter, join the Discord, get to know us, watch games with us, earn our trust, send us your videos. The bar is not that high. We're really looking for a fan. We're not looking, we're not looking for you to be Gary Neville or anything. I don't think he's that good either.
Certainly not Gary Neville.
Yeah. And we don't care about your politics, sort of like we don't care about Gary Neville's politics. But even if you're like a foaming at the mouth, drooling fan that only watches one team, if you can be entertaining, I'll take it. But there is a bar for the recording, and even that can be worked with. Like, oh, I don't like this. Try this next time. If that's what you want to do. Anything, Football Manager guys. You know what we really need? I really like to have like an Inter Miami fan. You know why? I could probably give us a lot of hits because I did Red Bull Inter Miami rant. We hit 1,000 on that one, which is a lot for us. And we're on our way to 400. And we are picking up subs and we are growing as slowly as it is. That's good. It feels I feel like a new YouTuber again. So, thanks so much for being a part of Glory. From Nick, from me. See you Monday. Enjoy the games.